good morning. Yes. I'm just gonna make sure that it's, oh, whoops. It's not showing up right. 1 second. I think we're good. Any moment now. So we're streaming right now, but I don't think people can hear us theoretically because it's not on us. But hopefully, hopefully it's actually.
Yeah, do like that. It just be like that.
And I'm probably gonna get lipstick on my teeth because this is not matte lipstick. It's like the shiny kind. So please let a bitch know. And we will go live. It'll be visible.
Oh, God. How are you working right now? That's just stupid.
They're still expecting me to work. They're still expecting me to work. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let me just make sure that live actually happens, and then we can get it popping.
Yay!
We need music on the intro.
What? That is something with that.
Alright, it's on the YouTube as well. So let me close all these motherfucking tabs so I don't distract myself.
Okay.
And then
Alright, looks like there are 5 people waiting. That's nice.
alright. It's kinda like your face is like a little hidden. We're gonna try it. We're both like, okay, that's perfect. That's perfect if you're right there. Alright.
Right here? Don't move?
Yeah, it's gonna be hard because we're both slightly cut off, but our faces are fully visible. Alright. And then
Here.
Can they?
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Alright, come on, hold on. I didn't know the audio was rocking. That's terrible. Hello, everyone. We were testing out some stuff with our cameras. Oh, we didn't realize you could see us. So we apologize.
Oh, you can hear. Sure.
So we're trying out the combination of Zoom and Restream today. So we're just trying out, making sure that, you know, both of our gorgeous faces are fully visible and that y'all can hear us and so on and so forth. So if you have any technical issues, definitely put that in the comments. Let us know so we are not out here just talking to ourselves. And we're just going to wait for a couple more people to join us so we have a good crowd. And then we're going to get this popping. And we have a very special show for you today from a revolutionary African perspective. Sorry, go ahead, Demetria. I'm talking.
Sorry. Can we put a disclaimer in right now? If you're at work and you don't have your earbuds, you just come back and listen. If the kids are around, you might have to wait. Because I can personally promise I don't have stuff to give today, and this is not a safe for worker children show.
This is my favorite Demetria. That's how you know it's gonna be lit. Because Demetria's like
Just off the top.
Word. Let us know, please, if you can hear the both of us, if you could see the both of us. We need your assistance. We're not professionals. We're just revolutionaries. So if you have any issues, you better speak up so we can fix them.
Yeah, quickly.
Nice. I see the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania in the chat. Those are our comrades in the motherland. You back with us?
And it is not a nice hour for them right now, so thank you.
I know, right? It's like really early in the morning, right? Or really late at night? I don't know. It's not the same time as
it
this.
should be really late at night.
Oh, well, damn. We appreciate y'all staying up with us. Amika says she can see and hear both of us. Thank you so much. McNasty says Black Power. McNasty, that name is ridiculous, but we appreciate you, Black Power.
Absolutely.
Word. Just a few more minutes and we will get started. Special show for you today. This is Weekly Pan-African News Live, coming to you from occupied Tewa. I realized I was saying it wrong the whole time, and the comrade from Pueblo Action Alliance really politely corrected me. Just want to give a shout out to Pueblo Action Alliance because I was saying Tewa, and it's Tewa. It's Tewa territory. I need to say the name of the indigenous people of this land correctly. My God, it's Tewa. Tewa territory is Albuquerque. All right, I think we got enough folks. Cool. All right, y'all. This seems like a critical mass. I know that folks will continue to join us. He says, I'm going to keep saying McNasty because it tickles me. McNasty says he's had the same handles, or they've had the same handle since 2009 Black Power. I know. I had some names.
You've been holding on to that for 10 years now. That's phenomenal.
Look,
I love it.
I like it. I like a person named McNasty saying Black Power. I'm into it. Also, it looks like I'm not wearing a shirt, but I just want you all to know I am. And I am. It's sleeveless. It's African. But I am dressed.
That's your business. That's your business.
If I was just nude from the waist, from the top down, that would not be appropriate. I would not be good representation for the APRP. My God. Okay. All right. Let's do this. So, hello, everyone. We're giggling, but this is a very serious show. We gotta get together. We are All African People's Revolutionary Party, New Mexico. I'm Monia Sanwu.
I am Demetria.
And this is Weekly Pan-African News Live. The All African People's Revolutionary Party is a revolutionary Pan-African socialist party based in Africa. We got chapters all over the African world, all over the continent, all over Europe, all over Canada, all over the United States. We happen to be in occupied Tewa territory, also known as Albuquerque. We always want to start off the show by acknowledging that we are always doing the show on stolen indigenous land. It belongs to the Tewa people. The entire Western Hemisphere is stolen indigenous land. Africa is stolen land, and so if we have anything to do with it, the indigenous people of this hemisphere are going to get their land back, and we're going to get Africa back, period. So we always want to say we are operating on stolen Tewa territory. And this is Weekly Pan-African News, a show we do every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, where we talk to y'all about current events, political education topics, what the hell is going on with this pandemic, this wild situation that we're all having to suffer through because capitalism is a bitch and it cannot deal with crises even though it creates them. And also just giving you news about the world from a revolutionary Pan-African perspective. Anything you would add, Demetria?
Absolutely not.
Got it? All right, I got it. Also, we always want to start out the show by calling in an ancestor. We are African people. Our past, our culture, our history is part of our current struggle. It always will be. When we talk about being revolutionaries in 2020, we understand that we are, calling back to a legacy, a struggle that has lasted for over 500 years, for 6 centuries. So we are part of that same continuum, and so when we call on our ancestors, we're acknowledging that continuum. We're acknowledging the struggle that created us. We're acknowledging the reason we're here, and so that's why we did it. And so the ancestor we want to call in today is Gloria Richardson. Gloria Richardson, you probably have seen before, but you just didn't know her name. Because if you ever seen the picture, the black and white picture of an African woman surrounded by National Guards pushing the man's bayonet away, that's Gloria Richardson. That is Gloria Richardson. And what she was doing in that picture was racist-ass George Wallace came to Cambridge, Maryland, where Gloria Richardson was the chairman of the SNCC chapter there. And racist-ass George Wallace was running for president. He came to Cambridge, Maryland, and she was like, the hell are you gonna, you're not gonna speak here with no interruption? You're not gonna come into our neighborhood and bring your racist-ass bullshit and deal with this shit? And so George Wallace brought out the National Guard, and Gloria Richardson and SNCC and the African people of Cambridge were like, fuck you. You're not gonna be here doing this. We're not dealing with this. And that is the kind of woman that Gloria Richardson always was, and that was the way that she always moved. She had an unbroken back. She stood straight and tall. She was like, you are not gonna tell me what I can and cannot do. And this is a woman who is saying these things during the height of segregation. One of my favorite quotes from her, one of my favorites ever. Let me see if I can pull it up, Cause it's very important. Oh my God. I should have had this ready, but you know what?
It's all right.
Some things just don't happen.
That's
like
fine.
that. So I found it though. So this is Gloria Richardson in 1963. She said, "A first-class citizen does not beg for freedom. A first-class citizen does not plead to the white power structure to give him something that the whites have no right to give or take away. Human rights are human rights, not white rights." She's like, you ain't gonna tell me what I can or cannot do, Jim Crow or not. You have no say over what I can or cannot do, Jim Crow or not, and I'm gonna do what I need to do to get my people what they deserve, period. That was Gloria Richardson. That was SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinator. If you don't know about SNCC, you need to read about it because we would not be here without SNCC. And that is the ancestor we're calling in today because we want to embody her energy as we have a conversation with y'all about the latest bitch-assery, racist, white supremacist, settler colonial bitch-assery that has been visited upon African people in the last couple of days. So that's the ancestor we're calling in. Also want to give a special shout out to the African people of Venezuela who successfully stopped a U.S. coup. I bet you didn't know that because it's not in the news in the United States. They're not talking about it. They're trying to act like nothing happened. But the U.S. tried some Bay of Pigs style crap, and African fishermen in Venezuela caught the mercenaries and stopped it. Because our people are lit. Because our people see the U.S. doing some nonsense, and we're like, the hell you will. That's just how we are. So, shout out to the African fishermen of Venezuela for foiling the U.S. coup that attempted to gain control of Caracas. It was 65 guys, and they're like, we're going to gain control of Caracas. I was like, y'all are, that was a waste of money. That was a waste of money. I don't know why y'all trying to do that.
We're always down to fuck around, so okay. Where'd they get you?
They charged $282 million for those 65 guys who didn't even make it to shore before the fishermen peeped them and were like, what the hell? Why are all these white men on a boat?
And why do you think everyone is scared of you? No, fuck you.
Right?
Fuck you and your boat.
That was not money well spent on the part of the Venezuelan opposition, the U.S. government. But shout out to the Africans of Venezuela that stopped that shit. And also shout out to Cuba, whose embassy in the United States was fired upon by a wild European with an assault rifle last week. I bet you didn't know that either. He just opened fire on the embassy and got arrested, and the U.S. government just stopped talking, stopped cooperating with Cuba. So shout out to Cuba, who is being consistently attacked by the U.S., not just with those shots on the embassy, but also with constant attacks coming from Trump, coming from Pompeo, coming from all these people who are seeing Cuba sending doctors all around the world and are just pressed that Cuba's helping people. So yes.
Yeah, you be good, you decent human beings. You be shit. No.
They need it. They need
They're not tired of Europeans with guns yet. This shit ain't working out for you.
Well, let's talk about it.
Ugh, okay.
Alright, so that's actually directly related to what we're going to talk about today on the show during the PE section. We do PE for every event the APRP has because that's the primary work of any revolutionary in this time. The people are confused. The people are unconscious, and so we need to engage in systematic and widespread political education to develop an analysis of our conditions and why they are the way they are. And that's why we do PE for every show. And this week, the PE topic is the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Who is Ahmaud Arbery? Ahmaud Arbery was a 25-year-old African man who was going for a jog, trying to stay healthy, minding his business in Georgia about a month ago when he was followed by two raggedy crackers with guns, one with an assault rifle, not an assault rifle, one with a rifle and one with a revolver, who followed him in their pickup truck, straight out of the fucking Klan playbook, followed him with a pickup truck, confronted him. Ahmaud Arbery tried to avoid them, tried to run around the truck. They flanked him and then shot him point blank with a shotgun. The reason they say they did that is because they believed him to be a suspect in a burglary that had happened days before. Days before. Also important, these men were not police. Not that the police have the right to shoot anybody, to get in anybody's face. Like, the police exist to protect property. They don't exist to protect you. So don't call those motherfuckers. But they weren't even police. They were just some guys. One of them used to be a police officer. And that's why when, you know, the actual police came, when the pigs came, the one guy was like, we thought he was a suspect. And they were like, that checks out. You can go home. They just let them go.
Yep.
Just let them go. That was a month ago. We're just finding out about it today because Talcum X latched onto the story and began to publicize it, which, you know, there's a lot of contradictions with that person, but it's positive that he did that. And then a video that was taken by a person in a car behind Arbery and the pickup truck when it happened began to go viral on the internet. So we want to start off by talking about what the hell are African people supposed to do now? And then we also want to talk about why you gotta stop sharing those videos, man. Like, stop it. Stop. But let's talk about first, like, what the hell are we supposed to do now? How are we supposed to deal with this? How are we supposed to address this? Like, we are constantly being brutalized in this country. There has never been a point in the history of the United States where African people have not been murdered by vigilantes, by slave patrols, by police, by armed security, like private security forces. There has never been a moment from the very first day that we were brought here against our will that we have not been subjected to extrajudicial murder and violence at the hands of white supremacists and white nationalists within this settler colonial system. It is a fact of our existence in the United States, and it always has been. It always has been. There has never been a point in the history of the United States where police and random Europeans were not murdering African people. Ever, since we got here. So that's number one. So understanding that, what you're never going to see anybody in the APRP do is talk about, we need to get these police charged. We need to, like, get the system to deal with this. We need, you know, white presidential candidates that pass laws that institutionalize mass incarceration to speak up for us. We are never going to do that because we understand very clearly that this is the purpose of settler colonialism and capitalism, to control African people and to treat us as disposable entities and not human beings. It is part of the functioning of the system, and it always has been. And it doesn't just happen in the United States, where African people are considered disposable, where we are considered a problem to be wiped away like motherfucking rats or like a roach infection. It also happens in Africa. It also happens throughout the Caribbean. It happens wherever we exist. There's even police terrorism in Europe that for some reason some people think is, like, you know, less racist in the United States, even though the racists, like, came from there from the first place. But anyway, this is a fact of our existence under capitalism. This is a fact of our existence under this system. This is how the system functions. This is our relationship to that system. To me, like, these conversations about how we need to, you know, share these videos and get these police charged and so on and so, it doesn't make any sense because it goes down the same way every time. And for every time there is a video, there's 24 times, 50 times when there is no video and nothing happens, where there's no consequences. So understanding that even with video evidence, understanding that even with witnesses, understanding that even when there's incontrovertible proof that the African person was just minding their motherfucking business, like when Botham Jean was murdered by the European woman that just broke into his house, even when it's clear we did nothing, the situation always goes down the same. And so what kind of sense does it make for us to depend on this system for justice when the intent of the system is to kill us off? It makes no sense to me personally. And so this conversation that happens every single time we are attacked in this way by capitalism, by colonialism, because we are a colonized people, that's why this is happening, needs to be different. We need to stop putting the power in the hands of the system that's doing us to us in the first place to give us justice. Because we already know they have no intention of doing that. They have no intention of doing that. The police showed up and they were like, you say you followed an African man in a pickup truck and then shot him with a shotgun in the stomach at point blank range and he had no gun? that seems reasonable. And then it went to like 2 DAs. One DA like knew the motherfucker who did it, so they had to recuse themselves. The second DA also knew the motherfucker who did it, but like also had to recuse himself. But before he did it, he like wrote this letter talking about, well, you know, when he was like, I think when he was like 14 or something, the dude got arrested for some bullshit. So he was like, clearly he just wanted to die. I was like, what? It's just like it's always the same shit. Like they always find any random bullshit they can to justify murdering us because they don't want to have to provide consequences because they understand our murder is important to the functioning of this system. So rather than defending on these motherfuckers to defend us when they never ever have for 500 years and counting, more than that, we should, as African people, organize collectively to defend our communities. Period. We need to, as African people, organize collectively to defend ourselves. We need to let these people know, these vigilantes, these police, these private security forces, these people who are coming into our communities and straight up murdering us, murdering our children, murdering our grandmothers and our fucking grandbabies in their beds. Let them know that if you do this, there's going to be consequences. If you do this, we will fight back. If you come into our community and mean to do harm, you're not going to leave safely. And this might hit you like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. Are you advocating for vigilante violence? Blah, blah, blah. But look at the history of our struggle in this country. Look at the history of our people on this land. Look at what it actually took for us to get anything in terms of rights within this system. Every single struggle for African liberation on this territory and around the world has had a militant defense component. It always has. Even when SNCC was in Mississippi, organizing people around voting rights, registering Africans to vote, while barbaric Europeans were bombing churches and burning down people's houses. You think SNCC was down there with no guns? You think that Martin Luther King would go down to the South with those crazy ass I'm sorry, that's ableist. Would go down to the South with those wild ass Europeans and not be strapped? You think that's true? The only reason the American Civil Rights Movement was successful, the African liberation struggle in that phase was successful, was because we had organized armed defense protecting our community from white supremacist settler colonial terrorism. Period. We would never have made it an inch forward in this struggle if our people had not been willing to organize and engaged in armed defense of our people, of our communities, of our struggles. Period. For some reason, in the past, I don't know, it seems like since the 90s, people have decided that the best way to go about this is to petition and march and be like, please, Mr. DA, charge the police officer. And it's a time and a place for marches. If it's organized with a clear demand, it is a completely appropriate tactic. So I'm not denigrating marches across the board. What I am saying is that we have allowed the enemy to define the parameters of how we fight back. We have allowed the colonial capitalist system to define the parameters of acceptable resistance for African people, which means that when we talk about police terrorism, when we talk about white vigilante terrorism in our communities, the conversation is always about what the state that enslaved us, that exploits Africa, that comes into our communities and gentrifies them and disinvests them. We talk about what that state is going to do to help us, and not about our relationship to that state and our responsibility in light of that relationship. I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to give it to Demetria.
I don't have nice words. I always get worried when it's my turn. Because, first of all, fuck the system. Fuck the system forever. Because what we know and what we have proof of is that the system was not set up for us. It is never going to protect us. So if we continue to want to rely on, well, let's see if we can make the system work, it's never going to fucking work and nothing's ever going to happen. Like Onyesong said, there was no please and thank you that moved any of us any kind of way. There was no please, there was no, could you just, if you wouldn't mind, we would really appreciate if you would stop treating us like trash. That shit don't work. It don't work. And we can't bail you out, and we can't put money on your books. So, don't take a page out of the European handbook and go out there willy-nilly and start tearing shit up. But we have to get ourselves organized. We have to. What we also have to do is stop sharing these fucking videos, okay? To what end is this good? To what end? You get to see your loved one live their last moments, their pain-filled, terror-filled, horrific last moments on social media. We have to stop doing that. It's damaging to our community. It's a moral imperative that we stop doing that. We can't. That's unsustainable. We can't keep that up. You know, Travis and his brother Dad Greg took the law into their own hands, and the law was like, cool, fine, fuck it, no problem. Good. You were scared, right? Right. So no, if we cannot continue to share these videos, well, how do we get the word out? How do we know it happened? We can get the word out without sharing video evidence of someone's murder. Absolutely. I just wanted to correct. This happened on February 23rd. February 23rd. 2 fucking months. 2 months. 2 months. 2 months. And the law down there in Georgia just thought this shit would go away. They do this to us because they think that no one's going to come and advocate, and no one's going to get it's angry word. No, I did a disclaimer. I said don't watch this at your work.
You did. No, you're good. You're good. Be free.
That is right. So I mean, the anger and the rage. So no, the system's not going to fucking protect us. The video evidence is not needed because what we know, like Only just said, 500 plus years of this shit, we know how we're treated. We can totally believe that a man was running, jogging, minding his own goddamn business, was murdered by two European people just willy-nilly, and nothing happened to them. We can fucking believe that. We don't need that. We don't need the video. We don't need that. We, as a community, ought to believe that fuck shit happened. Yep. And we ought to believe it was no problem. So, yeah. We have to organize ourselves in such a way that we make it impossible for this shit to happen anymore.
Yep. Let it be known there will be consequences if you harm African people. Period. Do not depend on this state that has been trying to kill us since it realized it can no longer exploit our labor on the scale it wants to. Do not depend on this state that has had it out for us, that we already know. People say, like, anti-blackness is intrinsic to the United States, but people do not move. Like, that is the case. If the system is built on hatred of African people and on exploitation of African people in Africa, if the system is built on the genocide of indigenous people, if the system is built on the exploitation of the majority of the Earth's population and the Earth itself, then what makes you believe that system is ever going to provide you with justice? Your death is baked into that shit, my friend. And just like Demetria said, we knew this happened. We don't need those videos. I can't even imagine if someone I loved was murdered and their final moments were on record. Like, first of all, if you see me or someone I love getting fucked with and you just film that shit and don't do anything, we are not cool. We are not cool. And then if you put that shit on the internet, I will come find you. I'm letting you know, because that is cowardly shit. We used to, when shit went down in our communities, we used to band together. We used to organize collectively and take care of that shit. And now people just like take out their phones and want to witness. And it's just not, it's not saving lives, you know? At some point you have to question the tactic. It's not leading to convictions. It's not saving lives. In most cases, the person who filmed the murder gets more consequences, like Ramsey Orta, who filmed the murder of Eric Garner, who's still in Rikers right now, who's being exposed to COVID-19 intentionally right now, because he filmed that murder and then put it on the internet. That's the only reason we know about it. So the people who film the videos get more consequences than the actual police or the white terrorists who do it. So understanding that shit, don't tell me that you are sharing this stuff to help us. Listen to us right now. We are looking you directly in the face. I'm trying to. There's a lot of screens happening, but I'm trying to. We are looking you directly in the face, and we are letting you know that shit's not helping. That shit hurts us. It hurts us. The way that I saw Ahmaud Arbery died was a video that autoplayed on my feed. I have intentionally avoided that shit for years because it causes trauma. Because African people as a collective have intense PTSD from the way that we have been treated within this colonial capitalist system. And so I've avoided that shit for a very long time, even though I've dedicated my life to stopping it. And I still had to watch that shit. Imagine being like his mom. Imagine being his wife and having to see his final moments. And you're telling us that's to help us? You're telling us that's to spread awareness? Are you hearing us say this has been happening for over 500 years? Are you hearing us say that this has been happening for over 5 centuries? And also on top of that, even like the argument that like sharing the videos is about raising awareness, and it's never actually explicitly stated, it's rarely explicitly stated, but it's about raising awareness for European people. Like if they watch us die enough, that they'll suddenly like have a come to Jesus and be like, we should stop systemic racism. But let me tell you something. When our ancestors were lynched on this land, your cousins, your relatives used to trade pictures of it and parts of our bodies. They're probably still being passed around down through the generations and European families all over this motherfucking hemisphere. Because it wasn't just the United States, it was anywhere that Europeans colonized, including in Africa where lynching happened. So understanding they used to have like motherfucking cookouts watching that shit. They used to bring their kids and their grandmas and like take, group shots smiling with our bodies in the background. Like understanding that's the history, and also they were active agents in that violence like the way they still are today. What makes you think that there's like a certain level of African pain they can witness that they wouldn't be into? That would suddenly make them snap out of that shit after doing that shit for generations. Like that makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me at all.
Well, yeah, and there's photographic evidence of fucking our ancestors swinging from goddamn trees, and European people hanging out like, hey, at the lynching. The fuck? If by now those people don't understand that, wow, like maybe we shouldn't do that to people, they're never gonna fucking understand. So why are we even trying to? Why are we expending that energy trying to get them to understand our pain? No, fuck that. No. Why? For what?
It's because we're colonized. It's because we've been taught from birth that the level of our humanity is measured by European acceptance of us and European acknowledgement of our pain. That's point blank bottom line. The reason that so many red people are so wrapped up in proving to Europeans our humanity and like appealing to Europeans and like the white supremacist capitalist system for mercy is because we've been taught that these are the arbiters of our humanity. We have been taught that these are the arbiters of justice. Period. We don't see that shit within ourselves anymore. We only see it within them. And so we're all trying to appeal to them to see us in a way that they are not capable of doing because it's been hundreds of years. The entire global economic system was built on a foundation of our exploitation and exploitation of Africa and exploitation of indigenous people. They've had to become immune to visions of our pain. They have been taught to actively seek it out and rationalize it when they do see it. So it is a symptom of our colonization that so many of our people are so obsessed with getting Europeans to see us and to snap out of it by witnessing our pain. And we are telling y'all point blank, it's not going to work. We are telling y'all point blank that if we want this to stop, if we want to stop seeing our children, our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our relatives being murdered by the agents of this empire, that we, as African and colonized people, have a responsibility to organize collectively to defend ourselves and to make sure that every single time they come for one of us, that we take something from them. Period. We organize for defense, and we organize to stop it using that defense, or it's not going to stop. Anything else?
I mean, fuck them people. It's so exhausting, and I am not eloquent enough.
Yes, you are.
To verbalize how tired I personally am of having this conversation. I'm tired of speaking their name. It's exhausting. And we can't At some point, we just gonna have to shit or get off the clock. Somebody's gonna have to go, and I don't think it should be us. I also want to shout out Mr. Doug Lewis, who was murdered by a European as well. Last Friday, I believe, after a traffic incident, and his murderer said, "I was scared that he might have had a weapon." So, fuck you, sir, and your lineage. And again, speaking your name, Mr. Doug Lewis, blessings and peace to the family, sir.
And because we don't ever want to, focus on the contradictions without providing solutions and alternative ways to move, we already said that the only way this is going to stop is if African and colonized people organize to defend our communities. So that's one. Two is that it is important for African people to know these stories. It is important to uplift the names of our people who are taken in this way. But we say the way you do that is not by sharing the extreme violence of their final moments. It is not by sharing snuff videos. They're literally snuff videos. You're watching people die. The way that we think that we should do that is by uplifting the person who they were. Ahmaud Arbery was a husband. He was a father. He was beloved in his community. There are pictures of him looking beautiful and smiling with his family. And I feel like that is a much more appropriate way to remember one of our people than the last moments of their life. I think that if you want to elevate those of us who have been lost in the struggle against colonial violence, that you do so by elevating the person that they were and not the sensationalism of their last moments. So if you want to spread the word about Ahmaud, boost the campaign his family is organizing, boost the pictures of him with his family, boost images that focus on him as a human being and not as a statistic, period. If you give a fuck about us, then see us as whole motherfucking beings with lives beyond these moments, with lives beyond colonial violence. If you want to help us, that's how you help. If you're an African person that wants to spread the word, that's how you do that. But do not subject African people to videos of us being massacred by Europeans and then say you're doing that to help us. You're full of shit. We're telling you right now, it's not helping. It's not helping. It's harming, actively. So motherfucking stop. I swore because it's very serious. Stop it.
Stop that shit. Share life, not death. Share life.
Share life, not death. Share black life, not black death. There you go. There you go. So, once again, we welcome your comments, questions, concerns. If you have any thoughts about what we're saying, definitely boop those in the comments wherever you see this happening, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. And we will respond to y'all because we like interaction. We're personable people. That's a lie. So that was the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Once again, we are saying, African people, it is time to organize for community defense. These Europeans are not calming down. The system is not calming down. It is ramping up its attacks against us, and we are going to get caught in the wave of violence unless we are ready to fight back. Now is the time to organize, to defend your community. If you are not active in an organization at this point, we need you in an organization because we need all hands on deck because these folks have no chill. It's getting real. COVID-19 is killing us first and the most, and they're just like, hell yeah, two birds, one stone. So don't just be a victim of circumstance, man. Join an organization and start organizing for community defense. Yep. All right. Next section. Oh, sorry, go ahead. What are you saying?
You have to. We can't keep living like this.
No, it's not. It's not sustainable. It's not fair. It's not right. And like we said at the beginning of the show, like Africans in Venezuela stopped a whole ass coup. They were just fishing on a Monday morning, and they were like, "What the fuck?" And they stopped it. They stopped it because they were organized, because they were armed, because they understood that their country is under constant attack, and they were prepared to defend it. So we need to get on that level. And there was a point when Africans in the United States were absolutely on that level. Every time the United States tried some shit on us, we were like, the hell you will. I remember Fannie Lou Hamer saying, I keep a rifle under my bed, so if a cracker comes and tries to fuck with me, I will shoot his ass down. I will. What did she say? I forget the quote. But basically, she was like, I'm gonna cap you if you come for me and my people. That's it. That's it. So that's the energy we need, especially as attacks against us are escalating.
And I don't know how we got caught up in the bullshit of being nice, but fuck that. No. No more.
Nope.
It's okay to not be nice.
Own that shit.
When it's your life on the line. Fuck that.
Thanks, y'all. We got some supportive comments. Ariana says, share Black life, not Black death. Absolutely, that's our mantra. Or share African life, not African death, because we're Africans, period. Also saying, what's step one to organizing for self-defense? Get to know your block. Get to know your community. Mm-hmm. Talk to the people that live around you. Introduce yourself. Find out what their situation is. Share your situation. I guarantee you in this situation where 30 million people are unemployed all at once, that your neighbors are motherfucking struggling. So start to initiate those conversations. Start to build relationships within your community, within your immediate area. And that's the first step. The first step of community defense is building principled relationships built on trust. Because community defense is all about leaning on the relationships we have with each other, within our neighborhoods, within our blocks, and using those relationships to build networks of defense. So the first step is to getting to know your people, getting to know the people around you. Fight back against the alienation of capitalism and talk to your neighbors and get abreast of what the hell is going on your block. And then once you have those relationships, once you've initiated those conversations, once you have talked to people about their struggles and about yours, that is the first step to beginning to have conversations about what happens if someone comes into your neighborhood with ill intent. What happens if someone comes for one of your neighbors with ill intent? That's how you start to initiate those conversations. You start by building relationships. And I understand, especially as a millennial, especially as like an introverted person, that's like hard to talk to people like that. It's hard. I feel it. But it's the only way we're going to live through this. It's the only way. The only way is if we start to build connections between African people, between poor and working class and colonized people, and start to build networks to defend our communities. And that's the first step. What if your neighbors are settlers? I gotta move. Listen. I don't know where you live, but I guarantee you there are pockets of African and colonized people. And if you don't want to build with settlers, which I do not blame you, then you need to find where those African and colonized people are, and you got to start building with them. But either way, the first step of community defense is building relationships. And the other thing is, I don't know if I could do it right now because I'm trying to do the show. Oh, no, I found it. But our comrade in the California chapter has a video that is an hour long where he goes into more detail about step by step how do you build a community defense project. So I'm going to drop that in the comments. Hopefully it goes across all platforms. And I encourage folks to watch that video. The comrade has been organizing community defense projects for longer than I've been alive. So he knows quite a lot about it. His name is Ajamu Umi. He is in the All African People's Revolutionary Party California chapter. So if you're like, how do we do this? How do we start? Check out that link. Also, it didn't post. Restream is like filtering my comments.
Bastard. I also think it's important to remember that, get to know your neighbors in your community. That's citywide, not your neighbor like right next door. Go down the street. I also think it's important to remember. Hi.
That was you.
Find your folks. Find your folks.
Find your people.
Go.
Cool. All right, we're a little bit over time for this section, so we gotta keep it moving. But we appreciate your comments, and we'll keep responding. The next section is a little bit of a presentation about COVID-19, which I believe Demetria is gonna help us get.
Yeah.
Hopefully, all hell does not. Oh no, it did. It did help. It did break loose. Hold on.
No, you're good. You're okay.
Do you want to share your screen? I'll send you the link. Because I don't think I can do it.
Hold on. Let's try.
And then I'll make you a co-host. I'm just like. And then I'll send you the link. There you go.
We put it in the chat room.
I put it in a direct message to you in our chat.
There we are. That explains it.
Bear with us, bear with us.
Yes. Hold on. I don't know if it's going to work on my end either. But we need it. I don't know if it's going to work on my end either. Hold on. Hold this on. I guess don't focus on. I'll show you this time. This is really strange.
You got it?
Huh?
Got it?
I don't. Well, I mean, I got the link, but I am not sharing for me. Hold on.
If it doesn't work out, we can always just talk through it. Hopefully, people will be able to follow.
I think that's what. Hold on. Come on, Lisa. You're sweet. Go slower. Okay. Where'd you go? Hey, where'd you go? Sorry.
It's all good.
We're just. Okay. That's it. You hold on with it. Are we hearing the first game?
I see it.
Woo! Okay.
We did it. Ready.
That was super successful.
It looks beautiful.
So, as y'all know, we started the show to talk about coronavirus, and because we weren't getting accurate information sourced by us, given from our perspective. So let's run through the facts. The facts. We can get this too. We're not immune. We're dying in the greatest numbers. Us and indigenous people, we're dropping like flies. We're not immune. We have so many other pre-existing conditions that make our bodies great hosts for COVID-19. So please understand that we are not immune. And yes, our access to healthcare under capitalism means that we have a bunch of underlying conditions that might not be treated well, or might not be well treated because this place is adapted. We're not immune, okay? Highly contagious. Please understand that this is not just, oh, it's like the flu. No, this is far more contagious than the flu. Highly contagious. Bodily fluid is how it's transmitted. Cough in the air. It can live on surfaces for days. Days. That's a long damn time. And it can just be out there in the air for quite a few hours. So highly contagious, and you need to be careful and be mindful. Asymptomatic people out there running around in the world, you can have this virus and show no symptoms. And while you're showing no symptoms, you are infecting other people. Understand that. Asymptomatic people are running around out here in the world, infecting other people. Okay? Also, it's not just older folks. It is younger folks. There have been children diagnosed with coronavirus. So like the news first said, oh, if you're over 65, you should be really concerned. It doesn't seem to be affecting younger folks. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Again, this is not the flu. Oh, it's just the flu. Everyone should calm down. It is not just the flu. There are no vaccines. They don't even have good, solid treatment plans yet. This is a novel virus. It's something that we have not experienced before. There have been doctors who have said repeatedly, we just don't know enough about COVID-19. We don't know. We have no idea because we've never experienced it before. It's far more deadly than the flu, so please be mindful of that as well. People die from the flu every single year. Flu season comes around, and people die from the flu. People are dying in greater numbers, in much greater numbers from this than they do in the flu, with the flu. And it's because we have so many pre-existing conditions, because capitalism was designed to kill us, and it's doing a damn good job. So we have to be careful with people with asthma, diabetes, high blood pressure, all of these things. Just great breeding grounds for this virus. Cuba regularly shows up and shows out. That's what we know about our comrades in Cuba. They show up, they show out. And interferon alpha 2b has been proven. Cuba has been using it. It's been proven to be a great booster for your immune system to help fight off the virus. It's been used in China, Italy, Spain, other countries where Cuban health and medicine is appreciated. But because of the trash ass blockade here in America, we're not going to have access to that. Many other countries and Cuba are working on so many other so many other vaccines. They're testing for vaccines already. They're working on treatment plans, and I just don't know that America's doing as well as quickly, because health is for sale here. What you can do, don't panic. We're in this together. We're going to get there together. Wash your hands as soon as you come in the house. Wash your hands frequently when you're out and about. Cover your mouth and nose when you sneeze, cough, or touch your face. And avoid touching your face. That is kind of basic. It's basic information, right? We all learned to, when we were little, cover your cough, cover your sneezes. Now this way, cover your coughs and sneezes. Wash your hands. It's basic information. What you know, hand sanitizer, or what we've learned is hand sanitizer, you just can't layer that up. You just can't. You need to wash your hands. Soap and water. Really get in there. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. And 95% surgical mask is best, but we know that getting those is difficult. So, a multi-layered homemade mask, cloth mask, fine, great. Wash them after you wear them. Wear them when you are out. I'm just going to Costco. I don't have to wear a mask. I mean, you don't, but you should put the damn mask on. Avoid crowded spaces if at all possible. Keep your distance from people if at all possible. 6 feet is the recommendation. It has been proven that this virus can go out as far as 27 feet. But at minimum, 6 feet. 6 feet. Take your shoes off when you come in the house. Come in, take off your shoes. What we know is that not everybody's in a situation where they can maybe leave their shoes outside, right? So when you come in, it's an easy thing because the virus can live on the soles of your shoes. Take your shoes off. Take your shoes off, set up a little sanitation station, wipe down your keys, your purse, your wallet. Keep your stuff as clean as you possibly can. And stay at home. If you have a stable, safe home, you know that's not the case for everyone. If you have a safe and a stable home, stay in it. Stay at home. Look out for one another. It's possible to do. Yes, we're saying you need to distance yourself from others. Yes, we're saying you need to, keep your distance and wear a mask. You can still look out for the members of your community in this situation. It's absolutely doable. And it's necessary that we do so. We are stronger together. We need to make it work together. Remember, wear your mask, wear your mask, wear your mask. When you're working with vulnerable people, when you're just with too many people, wear your mask. What we are doing, this is what we're doing. We're trying to give people accurate, up-to-date information. We're encouraging people to stay home and social distance. We are hosting all of our events. If you don't know, we do the Pan-African Film Series. We do other political education events. We move them all online for everyone's safety. So that's what we're doing. And you can join us from your laptop, your tablet, your phone. We're here, and we post about all of our events all the time. So that's what we are doing. And we have launched an elder care program. And we are also supporting several newcomer families from the continent who have now settled here in Albuquerque. So we are providing food, personal hygiene, personal care items, cleaning items. So if you would like to donate to that, we are leaving all of our information here. On Instagram and Twitter, we are AAPRP New Mexico. We are the African People's Revolutionary Party New Mexico on Facebook. If you are watching, we're here. And our email, or our web, not our email, we're using our webpage, aaprpnewmexico.org. And that's where you will find all of our information and things if you are looking. Here's our email, aaprpnewmexico@gmail.com. We love us for real and deeply, as Monique would say, and we want you to stay healthy, stay safe. Hit us up anywhere, and yeah.
Thanks, Demetria. Want to stop sharing your screen? Here we go.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
Hey. Hi, we're back. So yeah, folks are probably like, I already knew that. Why are you telling us this? And the reason for that is that you might know that because you're like on the internet, but like a lot of people don't actually know basic facts about the virus. And that's no fault of their own. It's because the information coming from the very top, coming from the CDC, coming from the President of the United States, has not been accurate from the very beginning. And so we're going to continue to reiterate like basic information that we have verified about COVID-19 because we know that our people are not getting good information. They're not getting accurate information, and it's making the situation much, much more dangerous. So we apologize if that was a review for you, but we're going to keep doing it because every time I go outside and talk to African people while wearing a mask and maintaining 6 feet of distance, I come across folks who do not know basic information, who have heard like conspiracy theories or who have heard just like out-of-date facts that came from the top, and so they don't know what's going on. And so we're going to keep doing that because we think that people need to get basic, correct information about the situation to keep themselves safe.
Yeah.
And then also, so yeah, I'll pass back to Demetria.
Well, oh, yeah. Like, why? So, basically touched on, I'm tired, sorry. Sorry, good people. The conspiracy in the U.S. It's not a conspiracy. This government don't give a fuck about you. They don't. The government does not care if you live or die. They really don't. It has been stated multiple times that by reopening the economy is going to result in basically 3,000 deaths a day on 9/11 every day by June 1st. And this country has decided to choose profit over people, as is their tradition. They don't care about us. So be mindful. If you can refuse to go to work, do so. And if you can't refuse, because we all got to eat and live, take every precaution available. There's a new, so Kawasaki disease is not new, right? It's been around. But all of a sudden it's kind of making a comeback in our kids. And there's also another virus that they're saying is now attacking our children that is Kawasaki-like, and they're saying it's because of COVID-19. It's similar to toxic shock. Women who use tampons, people with periods who use tampons, there's always that little disclaimer, toxic shock syndrome, in the packaging. Toxic shock is something, it's the symptoms that kids are getting is similar to toxic shock, and also there's like this inflammation of the blood vessels. So stay at home, protect our kids, protect our elders, protect each other.
Yep, and as Demetria said, there's like a lot of conspiracy theories flying around about the U.S. government or, you know, whatever entity is like overplaying the number of deaths. Like people are saying there's still people to this day who are saying that COVID-19 is a hoax, you know, that the whole thing has been overblown. And it's really, really unfortunate because there is a conspiracy, but the conspiracy is the U.S. government is willing to sacrifice the lives of thousands of people in order to maintain the capitalist economy. Like they are willing to let you and your mama die in order to protect the wealth of people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and, you know, Trump. That's the conspiracy. That's what people really should be up in arms about. And they should be up in arms about the U.S. actively moving to hide the number of positive infections. Like Florida recently reported they're no longer going to report how many positive infections there are in their state. So the U.S. is actively hiding how many positive infections there are in order to make the situation look less worse than it is. And it already looks incredibly bad. So it's just like, that's the conspiracy. Like, it's so frustrating that people are like, they're making it seem worse than it is because they're actually trying to make it seem better than it is. And it's going to cost many people their lives. And we're probably going to do. So go ahead.
It can't look worse because it is worse. It is that bad. It is exactly that bad. So you're going to lie to people and say, oh no, it's totally getting better. It's great, right? No, it's not.
Very bizarre. I wish that conspiracy theorists would point in the correct direction because I feel like they could be useful in the struggle if they would actually like look at who's in charge instead of like making up like aliens and like anti-Semitic tropes and stuff. They could just look at what's actually happening and have like so much fodder for their rhetoric, but instead they like just it's sad, just depressing. Anyway, so again, exactly, McNasty, our comrade McNasty, you are my favorite commenter today. Our comrade McNasty says the reality is always worse than the conspiracies people believe, and that is absolutely the case. The actual reality of capitalism and settler colonialism is much more nefarious than any conspiracy that anybody could ever dream up. Like the actual day-to-day reality of our existence within this system is so much worse than anything a conspiracy theory could ever conceive of. Man, all you gotta do is see it, and there's like so much shit you could get lost in, but instead they just make stuff up. So yeah, keep putting your questions, concerns, comments in those comments. As you can see, we love interacting with y'all, especially if you have funny names, but that's not a requirement. It's not a requirement. So like, continue to put your comments in there and we'll respond. Next part of the show, and I'm supposed to be changing these like slides, and I have like been way behind, so hold on. There we go. All right, so we just did COVID-19 updates. But wow, African World News Updates. I changed the overlay because we are high tech. So, don't laugh at me.
Bring it back.
Cool. All right. So the APIP New Mexico chapter has had a really good week, and that's why we're in high spirits. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, African World Updates. What do you need to know about what's happening with Africa and the African diaspora during this pandemic? We got some news for you. First up, the United States is currently the epicenter of a global pandemic because the United States has failed on every level to address the situation. It is not testing people. It is not treating people. African, indigenous, Chicano, Latino people are being turned away from hospitals, are getting racist-ass medical treatment because the medical system was already racist. So basically, it's a shit show. And on top of that, within prisons, jails, and immigration detention centers, people who, because of the conditions in those facilities, literally do not have the ability to social distance or even like wash regularly because they're not given soap, are being trapped in conditions where this virus, COVID-19, is spreading completely unchecked. Just rolling through these populations with nothing stopping it. And so in these immigration detention centers, kids, families, people from all over the world who are fleeing chaos, most often instigated by the U.S. government through U.S. imperialism, are being warehoused in these facilities, are contracting the virus, are not getting treatment, and then, because the U.S. cannot stop making things worse, like it's literally not capable of doing so, the U.S. is deporting these people still, during a pandemic, back to the extremely underdeveloped and colonized nations that they came from. So the richest country on earth that has failed on every level to control this pandemic, which is allowing it to spread unchecked within its borders and within these facilities, is then deporting people from the epicenter to global south countries, extremely poor countries that do not have the medical infrastructure to deal with these incoming infections and the spreads that they are instigating. So a recent example of this is that deportation flights from the United States to Haiti have been occurring every 2 to 3 weeks. You might not know this because the U.S. news does not report about actually useful information. But this has been happening every 2 to 3 weeks, that the U.S. has been sending many people, many of whom are testing positive for COVID-19, back to Haiti. Facts about Haiti. Haiti has been decimated by European colonialism. First by the French, Spanish, British, and then by the United States, who straight up occupied Haiti for over 10 years and killed billions of people. The United States have maintained a colonial relationship with Haiti for decades. The current agents of that particular, like the current face of that colonial relationship, are Bill and Hillary Clinton. Look that shit up. I'm not going to go into it, but look it up. That's why they're not the lesser evil. And so Haiti has maintained, or has been forced into, an exploitative relationship with the United States for many years. And for that reason, when Haiti got hit with one earthquake, then another earthquake, and then a hurricane, and then a cholera outbreak brought by colonizers, Haiti has never been able to recover between any of those catastrophes. Haiti is constantly getting looted and then wrecked by natural disasters, and it has no capacity to improve its infrastructure. Because every time Haitians, the Africans in Haiti, tried to improve their conditions, like when they elected Jean Aristide, who was a democratic socialist, when they elected that person in a free and fair election, what the United States do? They orchestrated a coup and took him out of power and put in place a dictator that they could control, that was willing to use Haitian police to attack his own people when the Africans in Haiti organized for better conditions. So that's the current state of Haiti. There's no hospital system to speak of. There's very little infrastructure to support people. And in this context, which is a direct result of the actions of the United States, including Barack Obama, including Hillary Clinton, including Bill Clinton, when the United States saw this, what they decided to do was send infected people back to Haiti, where they knew there was not any infrastructure to take care of those people, and where they knew the conditions were ripe for the virus to spread unchecked. And that is precisely what's happening. And the most recent flight back to Haiti from the United States, guess who was on it? Guess who's on it, Demetria?
I don't. Okay.
Your face lets me know that you know it's gonna be fuck shit. You know it's gonna be fuck shit.
Yeah.
The person on the plane. The person on the plane was a former leader of a Haitian death squad. A former leader of a death squad organized by the dictator the United States government put in power in Haiti after they took out the democratically elected democratic socialist president. They sent back the leader of a death squad that had murdered hundreds of Haitian people on one of these COVID-19 infected flights from these immigration detention centers. That is how the United States moves with Haiti. That is how the United States has always moved with Haiti. Always. No, the Haitian borders might be closed to international travel, but they are forced to accept those U.S. flights because of that puppet president in power and the puppet political party in power. Look it up. I will put the links in the chat. Look it up. They are deporting people back to Haiti regularly, and Haiti is accepting those flights because the government of Haiti is not free. The government of Haiti is neocolonial and is a puppet of the U.S. government. So they are accepting those flights. And the same thing is happening in Honduras. It's happening in Guatemala. It's happening in so-called, I forget the term for these states that create agreements with the United States to say that we will be a destination, a middle point for folks that you are deporting. You can send them back to us, and even though we have no way of doing that, we'll take them. And so the United States is sending these flights, again, from the epicenter of the pandemic all around the world, and is spreading the infection all around the world. The face that Dimitri is making is appropriate. The face that Dimitri is making is appropriate. It's disgusting. Anyway, so yeah, deportation machine in the U.S. has not stopped, and at this point they're literally engaging in biological warfare because they are sending folks from the epicenter of the pandemic to countries that do not have the infrastructure to treat the people and to control the spread that the United States is sending. It's wild. It's bananas. And the reason that people are surprised when I'm saying this, like people are like, I thought Haitians, but like folks don't even know about this because the U.S. News does not report useful information. That's why we do this show, because people would have no idea that the United States just tried to overthrow the Venezuelan government. People would have no idea that the U.S. government is deporting death squad leaders that they fucking trained back to Haiti. People would have no idea if African revolutionaries were not talking about this. So that's why we do this show. Anyway, as we previously mentioned on the show, Senegal has created and is now distributing tests for COVID-19 that take 10 minutes to give results and that cost $1 to buy. And the reason they cost $1 is because Senegal said we are only going to charge for the materials needed to manufacture these tests. And they specifically manufactured the tests because they already knew way before this was like a worldwide thing. When they peeped COVID-19 emerging in China, they were like, Africa is going to get screwed unless African people organize and use our resources collectively to take care of our own people. I'm getting really close to the camera because it's a reiteration of what we've been saying for the whole show, which is that we cannot expect the system to save us. We have to organize and save ourselves. We have to organize to defend our communities, protect our communities, and that's precisely what Senegal did. That is precisely what Senegal did. They used the resources and the knowledge they already had that already exists in Africa to produce a solution for Africa within this pandemic. Another example of this that's again getting very little press, because the only news you hear about Africa is about starving babies and warlords and not about the entire rest of the continent. So you probably don't know about this, but Madagascar has recently developed what they're calling a cure. We want to like heavy asterisk. We are not confirming that was a cure. We have not tested it. We have not seen test results for it, so we cannot say that it's a cure. So don't say that we said that because we didn't. But Madagascar is saying that they have developed an herbal cure for COVID-19, that it was made using a plant called Artemisia, which I believe in English is called wormwood or mugwort. And so they made it into a drink that they are giving out as basically like an immune booster, but also as a treatment for folks that have the virus, and they're saying it works. And so that was like about a month ago that Madagascar came out publicly with what they're calling a cure, which again, we have not confirmed. So please don't go out and like buy like a ton of this stuff and eat it and then die, because we didn't tell you to do that. So Madagascar is saying this is a cure, and now the World Health Organization is saying that they endorse the use of traditional medicines, indigenous medicines, plant-based medicines, as a treatment for COVID-19. And they are saying that they want there to be tests on Madagascar's solution on this cure to confirm that it works. But the World Health Organization coming out and saying that we support the use of traditional medicines in the treatment of this virus is quite significant, because we have been told for a very, very long time that the ancestral ways, the cultural ways that we have of treating illness and of healing are invalid. And we been knew that this shit worked. So it's interesting that now institutions of the Western world are like saying, bitch, you right. Like they're admitting it. Because at this point, they don't know what to do either. So they're like, let's try it out. So yeah, definitely wanted to shout that out. That Senegal and Madagascar and also Ghana is having extremely good success with treating patients infected with COVID-19. Like, you know, some of the best outcomes of any place in the world. So Africa is showing up for African people in a way that it's not getting any credit. And we want to make sure to shout it out on this show. And then last thing is that a country in Asia that recently had, you know, great success treating the virus and controlling the spread, Singapore, has recently had a massive setback and has one of the highest rates of infection of any place in the world after having been able to control it for quite a long time. And the reason for that is because Singapore has a massive underclass of immigrant workers that it was neglecting. It was working to control the spread in, you know, the wealthy areas, in the privileged areas, but these immigrant workers that were warehoused in facilities where they were not able to social distance, where they were denied access to treatment, and where they were denied access to items they needed to control the spread, became sites of infection. And from those immigrants, it spread to the rest of Singapore society, and now Singapore is no longer able to control the spread. So what does that teach us? Living in the United Snakes, living in the empire, like we just said, there are people who are being straight up abandoned to this pandemic in immigration detention centers, prisons, jails, reservations, and poor African communities. While meanwhile, if you are a wealthy person, a privileged person, a person with consistent access to health insurance, then you get access to testing and you get access to medical care. But viruses don't know borders. Viruses don't know class contradictions or color contradictions. So if you choose to focus on European privileged people with your mitigation measures and you ignore immigrants and incarcerated people and poor working class colonized people, you know what's going to happen? All that's going to happen is you are going to delay the inevitable point where the virus spreads out of control from those communities and the entire society gets wrecked. When you ignore the most oppressed segments of a community in favor of the privileged during a motherfucking pandemic, all you're guaranteeing is that you're delaying the point when you get absolutely wrecked.
Yep. Because you're just delaying. Because guess what? It's going to come back. It's going to come back and bite you in the ass. So hopefully, you know, I have no optimism that the United States is going to learn that lesson, because the United States is really committed to, you know, ignoring conditions that affect African and colonized people because it wants us to die anyway. But motherfuckers, we're here too. So if you just want to, like, you know, have it be out of sight, out of mind, you just wait a couple of weeks and we will see the consequences of that, just like Singapore did. Yep. You can't need poor people to make your society go and then ignore those poor people.
We actually own all this shit. We run all this shit. You'll find out.
Nothing happens. Nothing moves in this country without us. Nothing moves in the world without the work of past poor people.
They'll see. They will see. Anywho, New Mexico updates. Let me change the thing.
Okay.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Now we're on New Mexico updates. I'm just very excited by the overlay. Demetria, what's going on in New Mexico?
This girl's trouble. First of all, remember Gallup is shut down. Gallup is The roads to Gallup are closed. The way is shut. And at first sight, that looks like a great thing, right? Like, yes, you're going to shut down town. You're going to stop the outbreak, and it's going to be okay. And no, it's not. Because you're just creating danger for smaller towns around Gallup. Remember, all those little tiny towns tend to be food deserts. So you're going to be starving people out, and then you're just going to make them go somewhere else and infect other places. This is not a good idea. But we also live in a country where health is for sale, so lots of people aren't healthy. So Gallup is closed. The extension I did not see was supposed to last until today, I believe, but I think it's going to go farther. Either way, it's not a good idea. At first look, yeah, it looks great. Not so much. Phased reopenings are starting to occur, and it's happening too damn soon. It's too soon. There is no way that the numbers don't spread. There's just no way around it. But the government doesn't want to pay people unemployment. The government doesn't want to give people stipends, real stipends that will actually help people live longer. They don't want to do that, so open that shit back up. Jan's not going to have to break out the Flowbee for Brad to get a haircut. He's going to be able to go to the barber soon and get a haircut. And then we will have a stupid increase in COVID cases. So, yes. UNM. If you are thinking or do attend UNM, you probably already know that all of your summer classes are going to be online. You're not going on campus to go to class, period. That could also extend into the fall. So if you're going to spend a lot of money to get a degree, which I'm not knocking because we need people who have degrees to do certain things. But remember, there's going to be a great possibility that there's going to be no on-site classes. Summer school for APS is also going to be completely online, and that registration is open, aps.edu for information, but summer school registration has begun, and summer school will be online. And that is only for high school students. If you have a high school student that failed a class and they need to make it up, they need to make it up in order to get their credits to graduate. So again, aps.edu to get the summer school registration information. Cap and gown distribution has happened. If you have a senior in your life, cap and gown distribution has happened at all of the 13 comprehensive high schools. If something happened and you were unable to make it to distribution, you need to email your principal and your activities director to schedule a time to pick up your cap and gown. There are going to be, I call them graduations because it's graduation. There are going to be on-site celebrations for seniors. So wherever your kid goes to school, wherever your kid's graduating from, and when I say your kid, I just mean any kid in your life that matters to you, there's going to be a celebration at their school for graduation, and then the official commencement will happen eventually at some point around. So just be checking your emails and making sure you're staying tuned into that commencement eventually, but make sure you take part if you can in the on-campus things and the things that are happening now. Kids work 4 years, went to school for 4 years, worked hard to graduate, they deserve to be celebrated. Meals are still being distributed. Check again, aps.edu, cabq.gov. There are lists of sites. Distributions are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You will get 2 meals on the days that you go. APS has now asked and are going to require that you wear a mask, even though you're in your car. Wear a mask when you go to pick up your meal. But they'll still be available from 11 to 1, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You will need to wear a mask when you pick them up. And I think that's it for APS news. There's still the city cars if you need to drive up to use Wi-Fi. I think the number of Wi-Fi codes that were given to schools is just about gone. But again, email your principal, say, hey, I'm going to need some Wi-Fi, and if there is a code available, they will give it to you so that you can have in-home Wi-Fi. And that's it for local stuff.
Thanks, Demetria. So, as always, next section of the show, we just want to talk about some of the great work that's happening here in New Mexico to support our community during this pandemic, including some work that we're doing because we're busy as hell. So, APRP New Mexico chapter, about 2 weeks ago now, it's been 2 weeks, recently launched a community defense program where we are providing care packages and food and supplies to African families and African elders here in the city of Albuquerque. We are currently feeding 15 families a week, and we are serving several elders in our community. We want to serve even more elders, and we want to serve even more families. We have been actively soliciting donations, and folks have really come through, and we deeply appreciate y'all. You are helping us buy fresh produce and non-perishable goods and masks and hygiene supplies and cleaning supplies for a number of families that did not get that stimulus check. They didn't get shit, and they've been left on their own. And so we are helping, and you are supporting us and helping them, and we want to organize this into a community defense project run by the African community in Albuquerque. And in order to do that, we don't just need donations, we need you. If you are an African person watching this show, if you are an African person living in Albuquerque or anywhere in New Mexico, we need you. We need you in the APRP. We need you in the organization. We need you to help us build this work. We want this to be a citywide initiative to provide for the material needs of the African community that is run by and for African people. And in order to do this, we need African people. Like, there's only 6 of us. It's kind of bananas how much we do, given that there's only 6 of us. And it was like just 6. For a long time, it was like 4. So it's just like, listen to me.
For a long time, it was 3.
It was like, and we've done so much. We have accomplished so much in a very short time here in New Mexico. We want to do even more. We want to build up the political power of African people in New Mexico. We want to make African people in New Mexico a force that is capable of taking care of its community, that is organizing the kind of community defense that we're talking about. And in order to do that, we need more people. We are actively recruiting people who are interested in joining our chapter of the All African People's Revolutionary Party. If you join the APRP, you'll be part of a global Pan-African movement based in Africa. We have hundreds of comrades in Africa who are doing the same work that we are. So if you are interested, if you're an African person, if you've been like tuning into the show, if you've been like peeping what we're doing, you're like, ooh, that's cool, please hit us up, email us, reach out to us. We posted the email earlier, we'll post it again in a minute, but aprpnewmexico@gmail.com. If you're friends with me on Facebook, get in those DMs. If you know Demetria, if you know Monica, if you know Andrew, get in those DMs and let us know, because my God, we are doing great work in New Mexico that we are very proud of, and we want to make it bigger, and we want to serve more people, and the way that we do that is by recruiting folks who are interested in helping out with that work. And it's possible, you know, we're kind of intense. We're talking about, like, you know, community defense. We're talking about, like, saying, like, come in our community, we're gonna fuck you up. We understand. We're socialists. We're revolutionaries. That might be like a lot. I understand. So if the APRP is like not for you, if you're like, these Pan-African revolutionary socialists have no chill, it's true we don't. But if you are not into this organization, then by all means, join any organization that suits your particular politics. If you're an anarchist, if you're a communist, if you're a, I don't know, if you're a Democrat, God, don't be a Democrat. But if you are a Democrat, like, start your own organization or join one of the many organizations that exist in this city. If you're an anarchist, there's Black Rose. If you are about Indigenous liberation, there's the Red Nation and Pueblo Action Alliance. If you are someone who's interested in supporting incarcerated people, there's Millions for Prisoners and Black and Pink Albuquerque. There are many, many, many organizations in this city doing incredible work, and I guarantee you that they are all in the position that we are in, where we want to do more stuff, where there's like more stuff on the horizon, and we need more people. We need help. So if you're African, please consider joining the APRP and get in touch with us with your questions. If you are not African, check out Black Rose, check out the Red Nation, check out John Brown Breakfast Club, check out Black and Pink, check out Albuquerque Queer Resistance Collective, check out any of the dozens of organizations that are currently supporting people in the way the state is failing to do, and add your help. Get off the sidelines. Join the movement. We need you. We need you. So yeah, like I said, we are actively recruiting for folks to join the All African People's Revolutionary Party. But also, if you're an African person and you don't necessarily want to join the APRP, but you're interested in helping with community defense, we can also use you. So please hit us up. If you are experienced with social media, outreach, or propaganda, or if you're willing to learn, if you want to assist with community defense programs, or if you want to assist us with developing our external programs, for that you're going to have to be a member. But if you're interested in helping out with APRP New Mexico's community defense work, please hit us up at aprpnewmexico@gmail.com, and we will figure out how to get you plugged in. If you're an African person, we need you. We're really fun. It's a cool time. We read cool books. So yeah, no reason. And then also, we definitely appreciate the many donations that have come in thus far. They have been extremely helpful in helping us get this program off the ground. We are still actively soliciting donations of cash money, but also of supplies like fresh produce, like non-perishable foods, like masks, and like cleaning supplies in particular. So if you have any of those things, or you want to donate funds, I just put the information on the screen. Our Venmo is right here, is at AAPRP-NM. If you have a donation of goods or food, you can call us at 505-295-0008 or send us an email at aaprpnewmexico@gmail.com, and we will figure out a time to snag that donation from you. And once again, if you're interested, if you're an African person in New Mexico, or if you're watching this from anywhere, and you're interested in the All African People's Revolutionary Party, hit us up, aprpnewmexico@gmail.com. And we're on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at AAPRP New Mexico. So please help us. Join us. Join the revolution.
And if you're not here, there's a chapter near you, we're pretty sure. So get on board.
We're everywhere. I feel like every time I travel, like we travel to speak for the APRP a lot, and like we'll just, like one time we were like in San Antonio, and there was like 4 African people in the front, and they were like smiling big the whole time when we were presenting, and then later on we talked to them and like, we're in the APRP, and I was like, the fuck? Like I've never heard of you before in my life. And I feel like every time we go somewhere, they just like come out of the woodwork, either like former or current members, just like, stop! I love the APRP. So we're everywhere. We have a massive influence. We have a very strong history in the Pan-African movement. So you're going to be part of extremely proud lineage if you join us. And we should probably do like a whole show about it, because it's actually lit and people have no idea. They have no idea how influential the APRP has been. We get no credit. It's fine. Anyway. We never do because we're Africans. But we keep it trucking anyway.
Our resume is amazing. That's really all that matters. You don't have to give us credit.
The work stands for itself. Yes. Okay. Next. So as we mentioned, incarcerated folks, detained folks are currently being straight up left to die during this pandemic. They are not being tested. They are not being treated. They are not able to social distance. They are not getting personal protective equipment or the basic things they need to stay safe and stop the spread. And so there are many, many organizers around the country who are doing great work to call this out, and New Mexico is no exception. Millions for Prisoners New Mexico has been doing a weekly Free Them All Friday protest at various prisons and detention centers here in the state of New Mexico. This week they are going to Santa Fe. So if you are interested in joining the movement to make sure that incarcerated people are not subjected to straight up genocide under this pandemic, we recommend that you check out Millions for Prisoners. Go to Millions for Prisoners in Mexico on Facebook and like that shit. And then also support these actions every week. This week it's going to be in Santa Fe. The meeting spot is going to be the Rail Runner 599 platform in Santa Fe at 2:15 tomorrow, Friday. And then there's going to be a caravan to a nearby detention center, the Santa Fe Adult Correctional Facility for a car-safe rally, meaning that you'll be able to stay in your vehicle with your mask on. You don't have to be exposed to any virus, but you'll be contributing your body and your voice to a movement, to organizing, to prevent the genocide of incarcerated people. You'll literally be helping to save lives. So if you are free tomorrow afternoon at 2:15, we recommend that you be at the Rail Runner 599 platform in Santa Fe in order to caravan to that correctional facility and let those motherfuckers know we are not going to let you leave them there to die. Yeah. And again, these protests happen every single Friday. It's been for like at least a month that these have been happening. So like Millions for Prisoners New Mexico on Facebook and stay updated every time they put up the new one so you can be sure that you can be at that one. They've been all around the state, so I guarantee you no matter where you are, there'll be one near you. Other cool, awesome organizing happening in Albuquerque. Check out the Albuquerque Tenants Association, Albuquerque Tenants Association on Facebook. They are trying to connect tenants across buildings in Albuquerque with each other in order to start building up tenants' power. You don't have to wait for any organization to do that yourself. Like we said, if you live in an apartment building, if you live in a block, like start talking to your neighbors. I guarantee you 30 million people and counting are out of work, so if you can't pay your rent, they probably can't either, so you can like commiserate over that and like develop strategies for what to do together. If you can talk to like your whole floor, you can organize a rent strike and let your landlord know we're gonna do this collectively. Listen, the first step to building power is building relationships, and so even if you don't want to get in touch with the Albuquerque Tenants Union, you can still begin to have these conversations with your neighbors, with your fellow tenants, about out in the open conversations about how the hell people are expected to pay rent if they can't work during a pandemic, and then start organizing collectively to make sure that everybody's needs are met. Please do that. It's going to be very important. Also, Albuquerque Mutual Aid has at this point fed thousands of families in the city of Albuquerque in, I believe, like just 2 months. They are a completely grassroots community effort that has been organizing to make deliveries of food and supplies to families in need in Albuquerque. And if you are a family in need, if you are a person, for example, who is not able to leave your house because people are not wearing masks and you can't go to the store safely, then Albuquerque Mutual Aid will bring groceries to your door so that you don't have to go outside. So if that describes you, go to ffol.org/mutual aid and you will find a form where you can request help. They'll deliver food, they'll deliver hygiene products, they'll deliver what you need that they have available. And then if you're a person who has the capacity to donate or support that work, if you go to that same site, which is again ffol.org/mutual aid, you'll find instructions for how you can donate directly to Albuquerque Mutual Aid. And again, that's a grassroots community effort, so they need help. They need help. They need help. They don't have grants. They don't have nonprofit status. They don't have any of that infrastructure from this colonial capitalist system. It's literally just people who care about each other doing work to protect each other, just like her community defense projects, which means that they need the support of the community. So please do that. Next, John Brown Breakfast Club is doing the breakfast burrito giveaway every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. at the corner of First and Silver. As we say, I think I've said this like every show where we talk about this, the breakfast burritos are banging. They're so good. They're so good. I'm so hungry right now. I'm really hungry. They're really good burritos. They're really good. It's not just because I'm hungry. And they're free. So if you know a houseless community member, if you know a food insecure community member, to the corner of First and Silver at 9 a.m. every single Saturday morning to get a free, really good breakfast burrito from our comrades at the John Brown Breakfast Club. And yes, it is named for that John Brown. The John Brown who maybe he had not the best plan, but he had a plan to struggle against the system of chattel slavery as a European, and he carried that shit out.
A plan is better than no plan.
Exactly.
Do something.
He did it. He did a lot more than most Europeans were doing at that time. So we definitely appreciate the Europeans who invoke him and claim his name. Same thing with Marilyn Buck. So shout out to the John Brown Breakfast Club for doing great work and also for invoking the legacy of a historic European comrade. Also, our comrades at the Red Nation do a monthly community feed at the last Sunday of every month at 1 p.m. at the Red Nation office, also known as the Larry Cassous Freedom Center, which is at 1421 Central Avenue Northeast here in occupied Tewa territory in Albuquerque. So once again, if you are a food insecure relative, if you are a houseless relative, go to the Red Nation office and you can get a free hot meal while practicing social distancing to keep everybody safe. Also, the Red Nation has recently started doing Friday night forums every Friday evening where they discuss a different topic related to building working people's power, colonist people's power, and social justice during this pandemic, during this, worldwide situation. So if you're interested in that, the next one is going to be this coming Friday evening at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and they're going to be talking about U.S. sanctions on Iran. 1/3 of the Earth's population is currently living under U.S. sanctions. Yes, during a pandemic. And U.S. sanctions are making it much, much harder for many nations around the world to control the spread of this virus and to treat their people when they get it. Iran has been no exception. In the early stages of the pandemic, Iran was wrecked because they were not able to import the medical supplies they needed to control the spread, because their hospitals were crumbling because they couldn't import building supplies thanks to U.S. sanctions to repair the hospitals. So at the beginning of the pandemic, Iran was hit extremely hard. They've been able to get control of it because they have universal health care. Unlike this raggedy place. And so the Red Nation is going to be talking about the impact of U.S. sanctions on Iran in the fight against COVID-19 and in general, and we directly recommend that folks check that out this coming Friday, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And that's it. Yeah, follow the Red Nation on social media. They're always really doing really great things, and they have really put out a lot of great online content that you can access from anywhere in the world during this pandemic to keep the political education going. So definitely support them on social media, and definitely if you see a fundraiser for the Red Nation cross your feed, donate to that shit, because they are indigenous people, they are colonized people, they have been systematically underdeveloped by settler colonialism and capitalism, and so they need support of their community just like these community defense and mutual aid efforts do. Anything else for local organizing?
I think we covered. I'm double checking. I think that covers everyone. But people really have to understand. Get somewhere. Pick something and get in it. And if you don't see anything you like, you better create your own.
Exactly. You can join an existing organization or you can start your own organization. But we need you in an organization. It's all hands on deck. It's all hands on deck. Especially if you're an African person or indigenous person, this system is coming for us. It is coming. It has ill intent. And if we are not organized to defend ourselves, we are going to get wrecked. Just like we are in this first wave of the pandemic. So please, 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 if you are watching the show and you are not in an organization, please join an organization. If you're African, reach out to the APRP. If you are not African, hit up any of the organizations that we have kept listing repeatedly throughout the show. Cool.
Don't worry about where you're at. I don't know enough. No one does. Get somewhere. Get in somewhere. You will learn. You will grow. It will benefit your life more than I can say.
It's true. You don't have to know anything. I've been in this for 6 years, and there's many things I don't know. I learn new things every day. It's never going to be a point. There's no such thing as not knowing enough, because no one does. We're all just kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so this is Believe It or Not. This is the last section of the show. If you stuck with us this whole time, we love you. You're our favorite. We appreciate every viewer that we get. So, lastly, we want to discuss the upcoming events that you can tune into that the APRP is organizing. And there's a lot. There's a lot. We're busier now. It feels like we're busier now than we were during the pandemic. And I'm just like, why? That's good. It's good work.
It's changed. We have more to do when we can't leave the house. What? We can't leave the house, but we have more shit to do. Cool. Love it. Love it.
I just live my life on Zoom with no pants on and lipstick now. That's who I am now.
There you go.
Anyway, so first up, again, we do this show every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. So next Thursday, the 14th of May, is no exception. The topic of the show that week is going to be, what is revolutionary socialism? What is it? Why are we socialists? Why does Pan-Africanism have to be socialist? Isn't socialism bad? We're going to get into all of that next Thursday, the 14th. And we're working on a special guest host. So if you want to know who that is, you got to tune in. You got to watch the show. Tell your friends, spread the word. Let them know this happens every Thursday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And we will hope to see you next week on the 14th. Also, this Saturday, May 9th, our Pan-African film series, which we do on the second Saturday of every month at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, is continuing with the screening of Sambizanga. Sambizanga is a movie about the struggle against Portuguese colonialism in Angola. It was directed by Sarah Maldoror, who is a revolutionary Pan-African woman who unfortunately recently passed from COVID-19. The cast and crew of the film were revolutionaries actively engaged in that struggle, so it's extremely realistic and it's extremely accurate when it comes to the politics. It is a movie that's pretty rare, little seen, and so we are showing it to y'all for free on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook. So the same way that you're... Excuse me, I'm thirsty and hungry. I'm a mess right now. It's almost over. So the same way that you're watching this is how you're going to be able to watch the film. Just go to our Facebook, facebook.com/APRP New Mexico. Go to our YouTube channel or go to our Twitter page, and you'll be able to see the movie streaming beginning Saturday at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. And then after the movie is finished, we will have a collective discussion where we will talk about what we just saw and process it together. So if you're interested, please, it's free. It's completely free. So if you want to see a movie about a revolutionary anti-colonial struggle that was successful, made by the people that were actively engaged in that struggle, tune in this Saturday, 2 p.m. Mountain Time for the movie and for the discussion. Yeah. And then also, African Liberation Day is Monday, May 25th. It is every single year. It is our biggest holiday within the movement. It is our Christmas, Memorial Day, 4th of July, all rolled into one. And so it's going down Monday, May 25th at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time, 3:30 p.m. UTC time. But if you are in the United States, it's going to be 9:30 a.m. for you, Mountain Time, 8:30 Pacific. And we'll be presenting speakers from all over the world, from allied revolutionary organizations like the Palestinian National Liberation Struggle, from the Filipino National Liberation Struggle, our comrades from Azania, our comrades from Nigeria, our comrades from Ghana. We're going to have speakers from the APRP in Chicago, speakers from the APRP in Maryland, speakers from Venezuela, speakers from Cuba, speakers from Zimbabwe. It's going to be amazing. I'm actually going to MC the whole thing. So if you find me annoying, you're probably not going to like it. But if you like me, then please tune in Monday, May 25th. To be just I don't know.
I don't know how you do it. I'm no, that's so much. That is so much being on.
I know.
They're no, I can't. Sorry.
After every time I do this show, I go lie down because it is a lot.
Yeah, enough. Yes.
I'm just woo! Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna be 3 hours. It's gonna be really great. It's gonna be full of really great content. It's gonna be full of updates on what's going on with the struggle for revolutionary Pan-Africanism and the struggle against capitalism and imperialism around the world. So if you're interested in that kind of content, tune in Monday, May 25th on the APRP International Facebook and APRP International YouTube channel for African Liberation Day 2020. This year the theme is that we demand an end to U.S. sanctions on Zimbabwe, Venezuela, and Cuba. So more content about how the United States is a pox upon the planet. So if you're into that, like I am, then please tune in. Monday, May 25th, 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And then lastly, we are not the only APRP members that are on this online show wave. Our comrade Ajamu Umi in the California chapter of the APRP hosts a weekly show every Sunday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 4 p.m. Pacific, that you can catch on his Facebook page, facebook.com/ajamu.umi. This week, he's talking about something that is very relevant to the discussion we had today. He's talking about whether or not African people should be armed in the struggle for our liberation. We have been very clear about how we feel about it. Let's find out what John feels about it. I have an inclination, but if you're I'm not gonna give it away. But if you want Ajamu's take on it, then we definitely recommend tuning in this coming Sunday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 4 p.m. Pacific for that conversation. It's going to be an hour long. So that was the last thing. I'm so tired of talking, but I appreciate y'all for sticking with us, and I appreciate Demetria for being my co-host. I love when Demetria is the co-host. Once again,
this show would be like 22 minutes long.
I feel like when you and Monica did it, it was like a smooth 60 minutes. And then every time I do it, it's at least 2 hours.
Because you're like, and this fact, and this fact, and this fact, which people need. That's very important because you hit us with all the info, and I can only speak for me. I cannot speak for Monica, but I'm like, hey, fuck this place. Have a good day.
That should be the sign off.
And that's not very beneficial.
Sometimes you need that kind of energy. Sometimes you have to be like, look, this is all I want to say. I just want to say fuck this. And that's good. But my name is Onya Sanu.
I am Demetria.
And we are members of the All African People's Revolutionary Party New Mexico, which is one chapter of a global revolutionary Pan-African socialist organization. This has been weekly Pan-African news. We do this every week because we want to provide you accurate information and political education from a revolutionary African perspective in, like, you know, a fancy format, an internet format. So we do it every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, which means we'll be back again next Thursday the 14th at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Once again, we are Pan-Africanists, which means we believe that when Africa is free, Africans everywhere will be free. And Demetria, I love it when you do it. Sign off, so you do it.
Well, now, so we are ready for revolution. If you stay ready, you know, I got to get ready. So get yourself an organization, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next week.
Woo! That's been it. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you later.